Yo, 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 what's good? What's good? Stormybman, and I'm back. Welcoming you to Post-Fight Show with Stormybman for this Saturday, turning Sunday, March 25th, 2023. Now March 26th because it's after midnight. This is a post-fight show, night recap for the pay-per-view card that was Benavidez versus Plant. Fight just wrapped up. The card just wrapped up, which saw David Benavidez come out victorious with a unanimous decision of a grueling tactical fight. I talked about this fight in a pre-fight breakdown that had a bit of insight into both guys. And now I can tell by things that I say in my breakdowns, people take offense. But I have opinions just like everybody else. It did come to pass what I said about the mentality of both fighters being what would decide this. And that made the fight a lot closer than the physical actions in there. Both men were operating on the same energy level. It looked to me that Caleb Plant once again faded in the later portion of the fight. And throughout the bout, his answer to dealing with some of the pressure was to clinch and tie up, even though he asked for pretty much one of the biggest rings that you can compete in. He pretty much took a great majority of the early rounds in the fight. And that was something that really impressed. I have to ask you to stand by, family, one moment. I've got something that's interrupting my broadcast, and it's on my end, so just bear with me one moment, please. One moment. Okay, I'm back. Sorry about that. I left the door open to my home theater and this music started blasting. I don't know if you guys could hear it over my microphone, but the post-fight press conference is getting ready to start and the damn music was really strong, so I had to go and turn it down. So sorry about that. Let me check and see who's in the building. See who we got out here. 704 Joe in the building. CB3, Big Homie Coop, Todd Swindle, Jerome Truitt, Jared 011 Green, Antonio MMA, Josh Sanders, AJ 64. See who else we got out here. Chi-Town's finest. What's good with you, brother? Good to see you there. Of course, we got William Old School. I said it. We got Jay Gibson in the building. What's good with you? Okay, William. I'm gonna have to go back and watch it because I did focus in on this card here this evening. MPWTF is in the building. What's good with you, bro? What's good? What's good? No Smoke Yahweh is in the building. What's good with you? Ratchet since 91. What's happening? Mangus Allen in the building. Yahweh No Smoke with that super chat donation, man. I appreciate that, brother. Thank you so much. Straight Convo is in the building saying salute. William Old School back in the super chat with that. He says, for the collection, play Stormybman. I appreciate that. Jeff Spark, what's good with you? And Stephen L. the Mac, what's happening? Yeah, so as I was saying, getting back to PGH Big Dog, appreciate you. Both of these guys, to me, have shown some things in the past that had me zeroing in on their psychological approach to the fight. And I was not off with that. Breadman is very good as a trainer and coach. Again, an example of a man who haven't boxed, but he understands the sport, the psychology of it. He understands the physicality of it. And he's one of those that has been able to marriage a philosophy between the two for the way that he coaches, you know, and how he puts out information from his vantage point and understanding. And he's done a great job with Caleb Plant. If he were not coaching and training Caleb Plant for this particular fight, Caleb Plant gets stopped. So I'm giving a great deal of credit to Breadman for what he brought to Caleb, his camp, and his mentality, his psychological approach. The Benavidez camp still leaves a lot to be desired there, and they're going to have some issues in the future. They're going to have some issues. And the approach to what they were dealing with in the ring, they had no answers for certain things that were transpiring. And I found that troubling, because if you want to get to the elite level of the sport, you have to be able to deal with the difficult. You have to make adjustments. You have to be able to adapt. And I did not see that. I found myself yelling in the 11th and the 12th rounds at David Benavidez as if I were working his corner, because there were some things I thought he should be doing in the fight, and it never entered his mind. And I'm all the way over here in Chicago, or in the suburbs of Chicago, and they're fighting where they are, and I just was totally frustrated. Old trainers used to yell out instructions from the corner. Sometimes you might hear them say something like, let them fall, let them fall. That was a code for stop smothering your work. Stop smothering your punches. You get too close to a guy where he can reach out and grab you and clinch and tie up. He can stop your momentum. He can stop certain things. But if you are punching your way in and punching and turning and giving angles, that's a much more difficult task for the person that's trying to do that. That is totally missing from David Benavidez's arsenal. Totally missing. Was it a good fight? Yes. I think it was a good fight. Was it a great fight? I don't think so. Don't think so. Yahweh says, I get that clinching is a strategy, but damn, Stormy, not even a warning for excessive holding. Kenny Bayless sucks. Agreed. We have more than seen Bayless overstep and under officiate at inopportune moments, and why men like himself continue to get the big fights. It astounds me. I'm just totally befuddled. Watcher, what's good with you, bro? Sylvester's in the building. Says Stormy B-Man, salute to you. Joseph Wiggins says, salute, Stormy. Good fight, except for the Colbert fight. He lost that fight. That was a terrible decision. Yeah, it was. 88 Sports Talk, what's good with you, bro? PGH says, I hate when I'm ready to see a fight and then see Kenny Bayless as a ref. Yeah. He and Jack Reese are two of a kind. When you see them about to officiate a fight, it takes a little of the wind out of your sails. Lone Star Steph is back saying, be well, Stormy B-Man. I enjoyed the main event. Salute to the chat room. A draw from me, by the way. Antonio says, well, we definitely know David Morrell is ready for David Benavidez. Yeah. Antonio says Caleb was holding from round 1. AJ64 says 100. Correct, Stormy. A1 Hoop Zone, what's good with you, man, with those flags? Fly the flag. Todd Swindle says, how do the judges score a win for David and not Rayo? I'm baffled. Good question. G5 Gabe in the building saying, salute Sensei, Stormy B-Man, and the chat family. Salute to you. 88 Sports Talk says, Kenny saved Plant ass in that 8th round. A timeout for what? Yeah. And notice how the announcers didn't say anything about it. PGH Big Dog, I feel you on that, man. It never stops, does it? It never stops. Press conference is on. I see they're talking to Colbert. I'm not listening to it though. Todd Swindle says David doesn't have the power people think. He better leave 175 alone. He has power, but it's not grade A one punch knockout power. His power is accumulative, and he didn't throw punches in bunches tonight. That was one of the things that I was yelling at my TV about. Because if he would run the numbers, Plant wouldn't be able to grab and hold like he was. He would be more trying to defend and protect himself. But this is what I said about David not being psychologically a very strong guy. The troubles that he's had that allowed him to end up becoming a two-time former champion shows the immaturity there. Sometimes that's worse than what you saw in the Joey Spencer fight against Jesus Ramos, excuse me. Because Spencer took a beating in the fight. Benavidez didn't take a beating. He beat himself on the scale and with substances. Salute to Lone Star Steph in that super chat. He says, wrong pay-per-view. Should charge for Charlo and David. And salute to Diana out there in that super chat. She says, these judges need their ass whooped as they slide out the back door. David won, but 9-3. Colbert got his ass mollywopped. Salute to you, Diana. Appreciate your super chat and Lone Star stuff. Yeah, there is a chance, Antonio, that they played the scales on him. And the only reason I say that is due to the fact that Canelo ended up with the belt. Canelo wanted that belt, but he didn't want to have to go through Benavidez to get it. So, if you look at how things transpired, as soon as the belt was lifted from him, Canelo fought for it within months. Did he not? They've always played games with the scales. I think they've played games with the scales when it comes to Lardo Ramirez. But this time they couldn't cover the 12 pounds. That was just too much. Sometimes when you see these things happen like that, it's very unfortunate. But I thought overall the fight was competitive. Caleb had Benavidez biting on almost every feint that he threw at him. Just every feint. That told me how tense Benavidez was in the fight. And Caleb took advantage of it early. He jumped out to an early start. But I knew that once fatigue started setting in, the fight was going to change. Yahweh says, you could have been Ramos' trainer against Crowley, Stormy. You actually called the proper strategy. Then he did it in the next round, but only once. Well, it wasn't just that what I had written in the chat, but it was what Crowley was giving him that Ramos didn't really take full advantage of. That left hook, the double, to the head, to the body, to the body, to the head, was there all night. But you don't just continue to throw it over and over again. You have to throw shots to set that up. He was trying to throw uppercuts through Crowley's guard when the uppercuts should have been to the breadbasket or the pit of the stomach, which would have made Crowley tighten his elbows on the punches coming up the middle so you can sneak the punch around the elbow to the back to the liver. You see, it's a strategy. And then also by throwing the right hook on the opposite side up top, because he's going to try to block it or get under it, and then you throw the left hook bottom on the opposite side or reverse them. Throw the hook up top and the right to the body down below. Sorry about that, family. They doing it again. But I was saying you could throw it as a double shot, or you can throw it as a shot in combination. Left, right, left, up, down, up, down. Those are ways to break through guys' guard. And it was obvious that Ramos was able to punch through Crowley's guard. He didn't have good defense. He was taking some shots flush on the chin, and he was getting hurt. And as the fight wore on, you could see the effects of it on his face. He was getting hit. Sometimes, you know, the trainers, they have to see these things, but you don't see them in the fight all the time. You have to be prepared in the gym. Salute to Joseph Wiggins out there in that super chat. He says Colbert is going back to 130 pounds. That's not surprising. Crush the Legend, what's good with you? You didn't change your name? Chilltown Majors, you know that ain't gonna happen. Ain't gonna happen. Todd Swindle, he did set down on his punches a few times in the fight. He did. It just wasn't enough to make Benavidez stop. But he did. And Benavidez's answer to that was not to just rush in like he does with a lot of other guys in the past, like he has done with a lot of guys in the past. Dodge J, the larger ring helped Caleb a lot because he was able to get away from Benavidez's follow-up shots early on. He didn't take any damage early on because when he made a certain move and David was out of range, he still had more room and space to operate and go back to feigning and everything and getting back in with his shots. See, if the ring is smaller, when you make those moves, then you got to defend yourself because you made the move, but you don't have that much space to get after you've made a move. See, he had space to move and then a space to make time for resetting. It's kind of hard to describe it, but if you're the fighter who needs the larger ring, understand that Caleb was very comfortable with that larger ring. And if it were a ring like Mobili and Gongora fought in Thursday night, Caleb wouldn't have made it to the end of the fight. He would not. He would not have made it. Joseph Wiggins, how do you figure the larger ring hurt Caleb, in your opinion? I just want to know what makes you think that, because I don't see it like that at all. Watcher says, I've known of Colbert since he was 17. He doesn't have it. He won't make it. Okay, Watcher. I'll take your word for it. Crusted Legend says, I love the sportsmanship from Benavidez and Plant. Well, when you done fought it out, it's like you can have respect for each other there, you know, and have good sportsmanship, you know. Joseph Wiggins says, my opinion, Plant got tired in the late rounds, and all Benavidez did was walk him down and beat him down. Ty Swindle's asking, so does Plant become a gatekeeper now? Absolutely not, man. Why? Because he lost a fight against Canelo and a fight against Benavidez? Losses are a part of life, man. Well, you want to drop the man down to gatekeeper? A fighter like Richard Comey is now a gatekeeper because he can't win the big fights. Losing to guys like Pedraza and Ramirez and Teofimo and Lomachenko, I mean, he's not beating anybody. That's not Caleb Plant. There's still some guys that Plant can style and profile on. Plant's problem isn't his chin or his will. Plant's problem is his mental. I will stand on that 1,000%. And if I could sit down and have a conversation with Breadman Airways, I bet we can come to an agreement on some things if I were allowed to explain to him why I say that. But I'm certain he already knows. 88, right? They just want to take it's amazing. King Style Productions, what's good with you? It's amazing how people view fights now. It's like when a guy takes a loss, it's over for him. He should retire and everything. Why? Because when he was having victories over guys on paper, he entered fights 100% in favor of winning. Then he gets to a thing where it's like 60-40 that he might win, or 50-50. Then it becomes a thing where it's like you just don't know if he's gonna win. And you guys decide to say, oh, he's a gatekeeper. Oh, he should retire. He's washed up. That's why when you saw Teofimo in his last fight asking his people in the corner, do I still got it? He asked that question because people been talking about him. But the thing about Teofimo is we don't know if he ever really had it, because there were guys that they put him in against that he looked good. But then when he had some challenges, like when he fought Nakatani, when he fought Kambosos, that don't make him a bum. But there are things that he needs to shore up, to get better at, to improve from where he is. And all this inactivity he's had is not allowing him to do that. And you already know he's not getting the teaching. So stagnant is what he is currently. The Village Brothers out there says Plant was doing well till those elbows in the 7th. Plant got a lot left in his career. Do you think it was just elbows, Village Brother? I think it was a little bit more than elbows. This fight would be a good rematch in a year or two. Because just because you get a guy once don't mean you'll get him again. Meaning get the victory over him. There are a lot of things that I would like to see. Dre Finest, what's good with you? What's that, Long Star? You says those techno comments. Oh, those T.O. You talking about Teofimo? Crush the Legend. I disagree. That's why I found myself yelling at my TV screen late in the fight for Benavidez, because he was not doing good work on the inside. He allowed Caleb to tie him up too much, especially when the referee was not going to do anything about it, because there are things that you can do to prevent a guy from wrapping you up like that. Okay, T.O. comments, yeah. Do I still got it? Do I got it, man? Do I still got it? I was cracking up when I heard that, man. But absent in this fight was a good jab from David Benavidez. Where was his jab? Nowhere to be found. No jab. No combinations. No body work. He looked to me more like he was trying to hurt Caleb with big punches than really actually systematically breaking him down. But it's just because he's that type of imposing guy, reach and things like that, that he's effective. Well, see, Lone Star Steph, that's why I talked about both guys having shortcomings that were on the mental side, not necessarily on the physical side. They are not complete fighters, neither of them. And they have the same issues of mental. It's very difficult to explain, but understand that that is a fact. The only reason that Caleb fought with the fire he did in the 12th is because he came to the realization that David wasn't going to do any more than what he had done up to that point. Breadman asked him if he wanted to go out for the last round. He asked him at the end of the 10th, you got 6 more minutes? He's like, you good? When he came back after the 11th. Caleb really didn't answer, but he didn't stop it. He kept going. But see, Joseph Wiggins, check this out. This is why I said the psychology of it for Benavidez, it's missing. Because you don't knock people out with power punches. You knock people out by setting the knockout up. The jab is like knocking on the door. You knock on the door enough and someone says, who's there? Boom, right hand or left hook. I also noticed that these guys of today, they throw shots upside the head and behind the head and clubbing shots. They're not accurate shots. They're not pinpoint. You rarely see a guy getting hit on the chin unless his chin is up in the air or on display or whatever. But if you look back on the tapes of the past generation of fighters before the present generation, you will notice that the fighters would really aim for the chin. That's like Rayo dropping Colbert earlier this evening. That fight, Colbert's chin was right there available when he threw the shot, but it wasn't like he was trying to hit him on the chin. He was just throwing the shot, and that's where it happened to land. Hey Healer, what you doing, man? You deleting you deleting Lone Star Steph's comments, bro. What you doing? Healer, check your phone, bro. You got your phone in your pocket or something? What you doing? Coming in here all reckless like that? Yeah, I know it was an accident, but that's why I said something right away, because before you could even write in the chat, you come in here deleting my man's comments. Yeah, no problem. I know it was an accident. I'm like, what the hell? I was looking right at the screen when they started disappearing. It was like he got Thanos snapped. Shit. Shit. Yeah, healer. And see, I ain't even played your commercial yet. You come in here deleting people and stuff. It's like, what the hell? Yeah, Dre Finest. Have you noticed that? It's like they don't throw the type of shots that they should throw. Like BFTB saying, friendly fire, he got jumped in. Lone Star got jumped in. Yeah, punch placement is very important, man. Very important. No, Village Brother, I didn't talk about it yet. And thank you for reminding me, because I wasn't trying to skip over it. But the Joey Spencer fight, I understand what they were trying to do, but that was a bad decision against this particular fighter and Jesus Ramos, because Jesus Ramos is ready to face a world contender right now. That's where he is. Joey is not at that level yet. He's kind of like at that level of, he needs to fight a couple of veterans, a couple of gatekeeper type guys who, you know, are on their last legs. Used to be somebody a few years ago, you know. But I understood what they were trying to do. And it was good that his corner finally stopped the fight. It's a shame that they ended up stopping it during the round and not before that last round began, because he was starting to take some punishment that I was beginning to feel like, this is not good for him. He's still fresh enough. If you just stop it in the corner, You can say, oh, he yeah, they doing it again to me. And again, my stream never lost connection or anything from the main studio. So I don't know, man. But yeah, we still here. But yeah, Joey wasn't quite ready for that type of fight against Ramos. A year from now would have been better, but not now. But of course, a year from now, Ramos would have moved up to another level. So, but for the level that Ramos is right now, Joey won't be ready for that until a year from now. But see, this is what happens when you put fighters in against guys that they're supposed to beat and everything. There should be a learning curve through the process. You remember when Shakur Stevenson was coming up before he got that title? He was facing some guys that were moving away from him. He had to track them down. Guys who had good chins, who could take him rounds. And then when he started getting in there, you know, with the likes of, you know, what's his name? Jamal, you know, good fighters like that. He was ready for that. Oh, salute to Lone Star Steph in that super chat. He says, some shower love. She was at the fight. Bless her. Yeah, that's great. Shower was there. That's what's up, man. No, she had a great time. Oh man, Lone Star Steph, that would be a great fight. Shakers and Dice in the building. What's good? Yeah, that's right, Shakers and Dice. I was talking about Jamal Herring. Shakur, by the time he fought him, he was ready for that next level. But he wasn't ready for Jamal Herring a year earlier, even though he thought he was. He was not. King Style says Ramos looks real big for 154. He does. And Lone Star says versus Fondora, that would be, yeah, that's a damn good fight. And I think right now he murders Fondora. Lone Star Steph in chat, I feel that Ramos murders Fondora, because Fondora likes to fight on the inside, and guess what? So in the heck does Ramos. And Ramos ain't playing on that inside. He ain't playing at all. Brother Code is out there. What's good with you, man? Coach 67 Sports TV, what's good? He says, salute Stormy and family. Salute. Hey, where did Focus Ball go? He ain't made no more comments since he come in here. Thanos snapping folks. You still out there, Focus Ball? By the way, that's a great segue to get his little commercial in there.
Get ready to take your striking game to the next level with the Focus Ball. Dramatically improved footwork, timing, head movement, hand-eye coordination, reflex, and overall fight IQ. It's lightweight and extremely portable, so you can train every time, everywhere. When you don't have a coach to do mitt work, get a Focus Ball. When you don't have a heavy bag to hit, get a focus ball. When you don't have a sparring partner, get yourself a focus ball. And when you just want to have fun punching and kicking, get a focus ball. When you train with the focus ball, you train your eyes and your brain to read punches so that you can hit and not get hit, making this very simple device a must-have for all combat sports athletes and enthusiasts alike. So if you want to take your striking game to the next level, don't wait. Get the focus ball now.
Yep, just had to pay a couple of bills there with those commercials, man. So, but interesting fight card this evening. Plant showed a lot of resolve in this fight, because when he was hurt and he was just about empty in his tank, he pushed through. He pushed through. Something tells me he'll get his hand on another title. Something tells me. Yeah, Spencer needs some work, but the type of work that he needs to get into a gym with some more athletic and agile fighters. If you notice during the fight, the commentators remarked that Ramos had worked with one of the former Olympians who was very agile and athletic, and felt that guy that helped him train and spar for this fight was better than Spencer. So again, getting that type of work is imperative. Canelo did that. He got some of them young guys to come over there and help him out. Some of them brothers. It's come out now that who he's been working with in the gym over the past 4 or 5 years. But early on when it was happening, they kept it quiet. They didn't want you to know he was sparring these guys and everything so he could get better. And he did. He just wasn't fighting the guys in live action that could have made a difference in his career. Salute to BBG out there. I see you. Ain't seen you in a while. See, one of the things that I liked about the old fighters, I like to use Larry Holmes as an example in this. Larry Holmes won the heavyweight title. He was 31 years old when he won it. So he wasn't the young whippersnapper like some of these 25-year-olds or whatever. And so when he was fighting in his prime as a champion, 32 years old, he was taking on guys like David Bay and Mike Weaver and those guys. And those guys made Holmes use his ring savvy and smarts. Some of them he would take rounds, and just box, stay away, kill time, so he can get him later in the fight. Because guys who didn't have that ring experience, because they're knocking people out in a couple of rounds and stuff like that, when they get into those later rounds, they don't realize that it's different mentally, psychologically, and it's like you get tired and everything. And that's where Holmes was, stopping guys late and stuff. Well, these guys of today, like Caleb Plant, the way he boxes, he should not fade so bad late in the fight. But there's a reason that he does that. He's putting all his energy. You talk about people who box on the back foot. He puts all of his focus on the front of the fight. Take some time and feel your opponent out. Find out what their strengths are. Then you can assess, engage where their power's coming from and stuff like that. And sometimes that may mean you drop a round or something. But the whole point of it is when you have collected enough data, you can fight how you want to after learning what you've collected. But if you're trying to win on the Floyd Mayweather numerical chart, I win 7 rounds to your 4 or 5 and I win the fight. If you're doing that, there's no guarantee, because sometimes close rounds can go to the other guy anyway. So then you're forced to perform in championship rounds, and you're too tired to gauge what the opponent is bringing. That's rough. Salute to Dre's Finest out there in that super chat. He says, Colbert and Spencer in the same boat. By the way, Stormy, I be missing your lives due to my work schedule, so I watch your replays. Love and support always. Hey, I appreciate that, Dre Finest. I appreciate it. It's just that I notice when I don't see certain names and faces, I'm like, oh, I ain't seen you in a minute, But I understand life happens. I'm not complaining. I appreciate you checking me out. I really do. BBG thinks that Plant has low ring IQ. I don't know that it's low ring IQ more than it's his mental approach to boxing. And I spoke on that a little bit earlier, BBG, before you came in. Because I believe that he and Plant suffer from the mental aspect of the sport. They talk well, they seem solid, but there's something that's not 100 there. And it can be fixed, but they have to be open to it. And under their current auspices, they're not. It's not getting Plant. It can happen for him easier because I think this is the second fight that Breadman worked with him. So it could definitely be something that he does that can turn things around for a plant. But Benavidez is a different story because his dad is involved, his brothers is involved, and they from Phoenix, they think they know everything. If you want that kid to get better, because he's very young, if you want him to get better than what he is, bring a veteran coach and trainer in to help you guys. Somebody with a name and the experience to be respected. Don't think that you know it all, because you don't. I can see the loopholes. I see them. They were very glaring this evening in this fight. He's fortunate to have gotten a decision based on what I'm talking about. I'm telling you the truth. Salute to my brother KQKC Boxing Network out there. He says, great show, Stormy. Keep up the good work. Hey, KQ, and you keep up your good work, man. You were calling the devil out of those fights tonight. Man, you were going, bro. You were going. I was listening to you. I was listening to Just Do. I was listening to Tay Jones. I was listening to everybody, man. I had several devices going, and I was just listening to everybody. So, but ain't nothing like hearing OG calling fights, man. Cause he hurt like a motherfucker. You know, it's like he be going, bro. Lone Star Steph says, aha, I see. He said, that's a good point. I felt he left some on the bone, didn't sit down too much, and certainly didn't get off his shots. Punch placement he had done. He could have won. He sat down. But see, he sat down and was still trying to move and stuff. It's like it's complicated, and because I have a little fatigue, I can't explain it right now, but there are things that can be done in there. And I was kind of, before I got sidetracked, I was talking about Larry Holmes. There are ways you could rest with your jab, making a fighter pick his feet up, giving him an angle. So you change the course and direction of a shot that he may want to throw. He may have been lining you up for that shot, and you gave him a subtle movement, and now he got to reset and rethink it all over again just because you gave him that subtle movement. Andrew Gray's in the building. What's good? Yeah, absolutely, Lone Star. Yeah, because KQ can paint that picture for you. He's picked up his own little style there, and it's very entertaining to listen to him. I can't do that. I can't call the fights. I can see the fights, and I can see what's happening in real time, but can't articulate it because I process a lot. See, when you KQ can just roll with it, but it takes time and experience to get to that point. Because if you go back and watch some of his earlier fight calls, and you watch him now, it's like two different types of styles, because he's developed his style now. Yeah, Colbert, man, found himself on the canvas early. That was a rough fight for him. He took a lot of shots. And if he had pop on his punches, he would have had Rayo in trouble. But he don't have that kind of pop on his punches like that. But I still feel like a fighter like Colbert, if he could focus on the fight, focus on training and trying to get better technically, if he put the same type of focus into that like he does in trying to have a popping wardrobe, he could probably increase his abilities and be better as a fighter about 25%. But he's definitely not a guy that at lightweight that can deal with those other champions there. They all got something for him. They all got something for him. But now that the Benavidez Plant fight is over with, how do you guys feel about it? Everybody was talking about this and talking about it. I mean, I was like, it's gonna come and go. It's been a long day of boxing. I mean, you still had the ESPN Plus card with Comey and Ramirez. Then earlier today, you had Okole and Light that was on Sky Sports. So I've been watching boxing all day. But yeah. Supposed to do a call in tomorrow, so I better be getting on off of here so I can get up. Yeah, Stormy got to do those things you got to do to prepare yourself, shave and all of that stuff. You know, it takes a little work to get that beauty going. You know what I'm saying? So it don't happen by osmosis. Even though y'all might think it's, you know, it's easy. Huh? Andrew Gray says, and the Golden Boy card. Yeah. A lot of boxing today, man. A lot of boxing. So, but I'm going to get ready to get on out of here, people. I thank everybody that came out. Much appreciation for the super chats. You know, everybody is included. Yeah, I'm sure, William, I'm sure I'm gonna enjoy it. Can't wait to watch it. But yeah, I appreciate all you guys coming out. Shout out to the mighty LDBC. And we got more fights coming up next weekend. We're in this mix right now where there are like big fights happening. AJ versus Franklin is coming up. Shakur Stevenson is coming up. Lots of fights on the horizon, people. So just get ready. Tighten your seatbelt. Yeah. So peace to everybody out here. Enjoy your rest of your weekend, and we'll catch you guys on the next one.